Hello and welcome back to my channel. Today's video is going to be about JACLYN Hill throwing Makeup Geek under the bus for what was supposed to be their collaboration for a palette in 2016. There's been speculation ever since it was announced that the collab was cancelled in early 2016, and then JACLYN announcing her new Morphe collab shortly after. Last summer I seen speculation videos about the possibilities of what went down between JACLYN and Makeup Geek in the past. I've also seen people discussing this via social media, etc. Well everybody, I finally have the answers for you, and the abbreviated version of this answer to the question is yes, she did throw Makeup Geek under the bus to work with Morphe. However, if you want the full version to that short answer, and I know you do, stay tuned because I'm going to be discussing some of the details about what went down. For those of you who saw my video from last night, then the short amount of time that it was up, you'll know that I revealed loads of emails. First of all, I never should have done this. Instead, I should have discussed the current information out there available to the public. That was where I went wrong. I just want all of you to know that when I received these emails, I covered my bases and asked my source for these emails a lot of questions. Obviously, they were an insider and they made it very clear that they were not a part of any of these emails. The person who sent me these used to be an employee for Makeup Geek, but they were fired for reasons not disclosed. On their way out, they forwarded the entire email threads to themselves. When I first received the emails, I read them right away, and I noticed there was not any confidentiality disclaimers attached to the bottom of each email. I wanted to note that if there was such disclaimers, I never would have included the emails in last night's video, and I would have just discussed everything in the current events and how it was going on from an outsider's perspective. I would like to profusely apologize and take full responsibility for the video that I did last night, and I hope you can forgive me and move past it, and moving forward I will not be doing this again. Having said that, the former Makeup Geek employee who sent me the emails reached out to me after seeing my recent video where I discussed how JACLYN threw many companies under the bus, namely Becca, to work with Morphe. Again, for those of you who saw last night's video, I'm sure you'll remember Makeup Geek making multiple attempts to get JACLYN Hill to sign the contract. This collab was being developed in an informal manner, and judging by the emails, they operated in good faith, and being that Marlena was best friends with JACLYN at the time, she did not see it coming when her so-called best friend would have abandoned her with $1 million worth of product and nothing to show for it, only to go work for Morphe because they offered her more money. Anyway, even though these emails were forwarded to me, I was skeptical, so I reached out to Marlena for a statement, and this is our correspondence. Hello, I wanted to reach out to you to ask you about some emails I received the other day. An anonymous person reached out to me claiming to be a former employee of yours. They forwarded emails between someone who is an employee of yours, JACLYN Hill, and her mom, as well as yourself. There's a lot of stuff in here regarding the collaboration that was supposed to happen with JACLYN Hill, and some stuff about Morphe as well. I wanted to warn you about this and ask you a few questions. Since this is a lot of information, I thank you for your time. As a side note, before I read her response, I wanted to put it out there that when I was redoing this video, I realized that I forgot to put this part of the correspondence I had with Marlena in my last video, so I wanted to include that in this video. Marlena replied to me and said, "I don't know who sent those to you and I prefer not to comment on this." After receiving her message the very next day, I replied and I said, "Thank you for your time. I feel these emails are very telling to JACLYN's personality and her history of throwing companies and friends under the bus. I respect your wishes to not comment on this matter. I wanted to present this in a video and will make a note in my video that you did not want to comment on the matter. Thank you for your time." And I just wanted to note that she left me on read and she still did not reply to me to this day, so take that as you wish. In my experience, whenever someone would reply to me with a no comment type response, that always told me that there was some truth to everything that I was asking them. Sanders Kennedy, who is a well-known drama channel, also covered this topic this morning and mentioned a few interesting things in his video. He noted that he did in fact reach out to both Marlena and JACLYN Hill, and while JACLYN did not respond, Marlena replied and gave him permission to talk about all this. He also mentioned how he reached out to JACLYN regarding a previous scandal also concerning emails, and she gave him a rather off-putting response.
Now, I have reached out to both parties, JACLYN Hill and Marlena. JACLYN Hill didn't respond, but Marlena did respond and personally gave me permission to talk about this on my channel, and I can also confirm that these emails are authentic. Now, I also received these emails a while back. Now, you're probably asking, well, why didn't you come out with it? Well, the reason is I was really concerned about legal action that would be taken against me if I was to come out with the emails, because I reached out to JACLYN Hill regarding another scandal that had to deal with emails that I received, and this is what she told me, and I'm going to quote it, and I have proof. So I'm going to tell you what she told me, and it says, quote, "Someone could be in major trouble with the law because my emails are confidential." Now, I took that as a threat, as in don't talk about me, no matter if they are confidential or not.
While I was debating on covering this later that evening, my Twitter notifications were going off and Marlena was going on a Twitter rant about the beauty community, and here are those tweets. She started things off by saying, "I wish I could share almost like a Santa's list of who's naughty and who's nice from the 100+ influencers I worked with over the years. If your gut says something isn't right, then listen to your gut. That's all I'm saying." Marlena follows that up and says, "I could write a book on the amount of hot tea I've drank over the last 10 years and never shared because I wanted to stay free of drama. But when I've been personally and professionally affected from backstabbing, it's hard to stay quiet. I'm human too." Marlena ends things and says, "Okay, now I'm done, LOL," and then ends with the zipper face emoji. This last tweet here is a reply to beauty blogger Zadi Doll, who wrote to her and said, "Considering you're a brand owner, if a mega influencer stabs you in the back, I'm sure it costs you a lot of money." Marlena responded to her and said 1 million. Now remember that number because it's going to be important later on. Going back to those speculation videos I mentioned earlier, I did a post around that time where one of my supporters confronted JACLYN Hill after seeing said videos about this, and this was their exchange with her. "You did Marlena really dirty. I'm so disappointed." JACLYN replies with eye roll emojis and says, "You do realize that no one actually knows what happened. Everything you've heard is just speculation, dramatic opinions, and assumptions." That cemented it for me that there was truth to those emails. The aforementioned post coupled with those tweets and her vague response to me, I decided to move forward with this video. I looked into this collab from the time it was announced to the time it was cancelled, and the timelines of these emails checks out, so here's a bit of a backstory. I was researching the history of this collab to find out when it was announced and came across a tweet of a comment that Marlena left on one of her own videos on May 27, 2015, and the tweet reads, "Reading through the comments on Makeup Geek's newest video, and look what I found at JACLYN Hill." The screenshot included in this tweet is from Makeup Geek and it reads, "I don't have the exact dates, but here are some upcoming releases. July, Duochrome Collection. August, 20 Matte Shadows. September, JACLYN Hill Palette. October, Under Eye Concealer and Lip Creams. November, Face Palette." Then I came across another post from Trendmood in an article on Stylecaster.com containing tweets from JACLYN on June 17, 2015, and those tweets read, a fan tweeted out and said, "At JACLYN Hill, can you give us a little hint of what you're doing with Makeup Geek?" JACLYN responded to her and said, "It's a palette of 9 shades and some are custom shades that I'm creating." JACLYN also swatched 2 colors from this collaboration as seen in this beauty blogger named Alicia Rivers post on July 8, 2015. Fast forward to February 17, 2016, Trendmood spilled the tea and became the bearer of bad news when she revealed the cancellation of JACLYN's palette in this post here. One of JACLYN's fans named Maria LaBelle replied and said, "Girl, when is your Makeup Geek palette coming out?" JACLYN replied and said, "It's actually not happening anymore. Due to delays and other collaborations from both ends, it's not happening. So sad." Anyway, that's the public version of the story of the collab that never happened, but what really happened behind the scenes? Sadly, as I said earlier, again, I cannot share these emails, but I will be offering commentary on them. In 2015, JACLYN, her mom, who I will refer to as Momager from here on out, an employee that was involved in the collaboration process, and Marlena herself, who also made an appearance a few times, created an email group to discuss what would have been the collaboration between Makeup Geek and JACLYN Hill. Details of the email discussed the obvious, such as packaging layouts, designs and artwork, colors, the exclusivity of said colors, timeframes for this collab and their collabs with other influencers, deadlines, delays, her collabs with Morphe and Becca, the formulation process, etc, etc, etc. While I was reading the emails, I looked at the timestamps and I noticed there were severe time gaps where JACLYN and Momager would often go for weeks, if not for over a month, without replying. The Makeup Geek employee was constantly initiating contact with the both of them, and to me, it looked like it was like pulling teeth trying to get them to respond just once. More often than not, they issued a short one-liner email in response to the very detailed email sent to them by the employee. This employee sent them a contract to sign to make this collaboration official and formal for all parties involved. I felt that both JACLYN and her mom were very disrespectful throughout this ordeal and intentionally avoided signing the contract so that they could pull out and withdraw from the collaboration if need be, so that they could work on other collaborations that would earn them more money. I will say where Makeup Geek went wrong with all this, because I said in my previous video, in my opinion, they should have stopped contacting them the second they avoided signing the contract, and definitely should have never put a penny into this collaboration, let alone $1 million. because the way they threw Marlena under the bus was incredibly disrespectful and really disgusting. Betraying someone who's supposed to be your best friend is unforgivable, especially when you set your best friend's company back for a lot of money. If you look at these tweets here, you can see that JACLYN and Marlena were very close, and Marlena even gifted a very expensive purse to JACLYN at one point. On February 4th, 2015, JACLYN says, "I still can't believe this bag is mine. Marlena from Makeup Geek surprised me with one of my dream bags. I cried." And somewhere around that time, JACLYN tweeted out a photo of Marlena and said, "Late night run to CVS, brought Marlena from Makeup Geek with me. Who else does this when you're shopping?" Another interesting that I wanted to point out that while I was uploading last night, Zadi Doll wrote me and pointed it out that the way that the artwork and concepts were described in the emails for the collaboration, it looks like Morphe and JACLYN Hill were awfully inspired by this employee's vision for the Makeup Geek collaboration palette. Take a look. The emails discussed using JACLYN Hill's signature on a white background and taking headshots that showed off JACLYN's personality. I mean, doesn't this look like the way that those emails described their vision for the original Makeup Geek palette? Anyway, that's it for this video. What do you think about all this? As always, let me know what you think down below, and I'll see you all soon.